we have done is like, we have created a new application, and then we have designed the process, like how that our process will look like, and that we have done it with the help of our stages and steps. And and then also that, and then after that we have learned about classes, how classes that, Pega I mean, what is the importance of classes in Pega, like, because of which, like, we can increase that our reusability feature in Pega, so that we don't have to code or, like, make one thing again and again, like, the same rule that we can reuse, based on the class inheritance and all the stuff. And then after that, we have seen that, there is a cycle, like, how that if you want to make a if you want to make a UI, then, how that, we can create for fields, we create properties, and then, that properties we refer it in a section, and then the section gets referred in a flow action, and the flow action comes in the flow, and then that flow comes in the case type, and like this. So now once you have done refer each and every rule in a proper place, so once you run your process, then you can easily see it on the UI like this. So like first name, last name, date of birth, so, and we have different types of properties that we have seen. One is a text type, and then we have text area where we can, if you want to put the entire description to that, also we have it. And then we have a date time, like, where like user can select particular date. And then okay, and then also we have seen that, if you want to make any fields as mandatory like this, so we can do that as well. And like, with the help of our again section rule. And then also how that, we can make it, let's say, for example, let's say, I mean, visible on condition. For example, if you feel that if you feels like, we want to show only when, like, when few option is selected, then only that you want to view it. So that is also, we have seen that, we can do that with the help of our visible on condition. And then also we have seen that, I mean, how we can make use of these like, change the layouts of like this. For example, if you want to display 3 fields in a row, 4 fields in a row, or one fields in a row, and all those things, so that is also possible. So that also we can do it with the help of the presentation tab present in the section, all that. And so yesterday we have talked about one more rule, I mean the type, which is called as a embedded property, or it's called as a complex property, and it's also called as aggregate properties as well. So many people, like, I mean, we use, like, anyone can use any one of these. That means that, they are referring basically page, single page property, page list property, and a page group property. Okay, so yesterday we have seen that, what is single page. So now whenever, like, single page means, like, for example, let's say you're storing some particular data. For example, let's say in address, what will you store? You will store house number, city, street, and all this thing. And the same way you can create a page property for a person as well, like, a person details. In the person details, what will you store? His first name, last name, phone number, email ID, date of birth, age, like that. So you can create a page property, for that as well. And then let's say, like, now that, I have one more requirement, like, for example, here, like, I have let's say I'll just enter these details. Okay, so now after, let's say, and all that stuff, the user will proceed further. And then after that, in the loan type, of course, I'll select, like, what loan that I want. It's the education loan, and then the loan amount. And also, let's say, like, I want a checkbox here. Sorry, so I want a checkbox here. So, like, where in which, like, I'll ask user, like, okay, like, do you have any loan, or have you taken any loan in the past, or any loan is going, any of your loan is, still exist basically. So, and then once he checks that box, then we'll show the table, I mean, a grid basically, where the user has to enter these details. Okay, like, if you have a loan, then let me know, like, what is that, type. So now, of course, in this case, like, user can enter, of course, the user can have multiple loans, right? And in the address, I mean, in the temporary address means user cannot enter, like, and I have 2 temporary address. Of course, user can enter 1 temporary and permanent address. But if I name the name as temporary address, so here the user can't enter, like, I can say that, okay, I have 2 or 3, 4 temporary address. But in this case, I mean, there are chances that user can have multiple loans. I mean, let's say I'm applying for a house loan, but there are chances, like, I'm already having education loan on my name, and as well as the personal loan, by particular people that do take, right? I mean, can have multiple loans, in these days. So like that. So now let's do that. So now what we'll do is like we'll go to the section name. So now let's say if you want to know that, what is the section name and all these things, because by looking at this UI, if you know the section name, then it's good. Well and good, like, you know it, like, the section is this. But in real time, we create like, 100 to 100 sections. Okay, so it's very difficult to understand, which section name is this. So now the Pega has given one tool, for you, which is called as a live UI. For example, let's say like, I want to know, okay, what is the section name? And then I want to open that section. So simply what you can do is, you can just, in the below, in the dev studio, you will find that live UI. So just click on this live UI here, and then go here, and then click here. So you can see here the Pega will tell you, okay, what is this property name, and what is the section name, what is this function name. So each and every information the Pega will give you, so that you don't have to search like, okay, what is the section name and all these things. And it will save your time. And then if you directly click on the circle icon, either from here or else, sorry, either from here or either from here as well, from both the places. So Pega will open that section for you. So now if I'll click on the circle icon, so here it is. So you can see that like the Pega has opened it. So now I don't have to search for any no section, like, and all that stuff. So because in real time development, like, it will be it is very helpful basically, because you will not, because I mean, if you have done it, if you have coded it, you'll know the section name. But let's say this UI has been developed by some of your team member, like, and he's not in the company, basically he left the company. Then of course, you'll not call him to ask him the section name, right? So in this tool, yeah, live UI will tell you, like, okay, what is the section name and all the stuff. Okay, so now that we have a requirement where then that which we have to give a checkbox. Okay, so that checkbox we can use it, like, for example, let's say terms and conditions, right? I mean, we normally we see, right? I mean, the checkbox for terms and condition, that we have to accept it, then only we can just continue further and all that stuff. So in the similar way, we can just have the checkbox for that too. So what I'll do is I'll just add a layout here, and then I'll okay, yeah, here it is. So it's a checkbox. Um, in fast load. Okay, so I just created this property, and then okay, and then we can just give that checkbox label as, let's say, do you have any do you have any loan? Okay, okay, or have, or whatever, like, like this. Okay, so okay, so this is how it looked like. So now I'll save this. Okay, and then after that, like, now if the user has to enter multiple details, right? So for this single dynamic layout will not help. For that, Pega will have one more layout which is called as a table layout. This is the one. Okay, so now not this one. So this is a table layout. So just drag it down, and now this one. So here, so now just click on this table, so this gear icon. Just click here, and then the Pega will ask you, okay, what is the page list name and the page group name? Okay, so for now we have to create a page list property. So in this grid, we can configure only a page list property or a page group property. Okay, so now let's create one property as okay, uh, past, okay, or loan details basically. Okay, so now I'll just create this property, and now I'll change this to, so yesterday we have created a single page, so now I'll create a page list. Okay, and then for the page list also, Pega will ask you for a page definition. So page definition is nothing but we create one class, like, data class, like this loan details. So I'll create this class quickly. Okay, and then I'll just give the version, okay, this class version, and then test, test. Yeah. That's it. The class has been created, and then I'll save this property rule. And then after that, of course, we have to create one page. This property, we have created it. Now, if I'll just refresh the App Explorer. So here, Okay, so now you can see that again the arrow icon is there with this loan details because it's the embedded property. So now in this data class, we have to create these properties, loan type or like, details which are related to loan. Okay, so now I'll just copy this class and let's create those properties. So let's say loan, what a loan type. Okay, and now again, if you want to show drop down here, let's say education loan, personal loan, home loan. That's it. And then let's create another property as uh, amount. And then how much is the EMI? And then, yeah, year of, and then tenure. So you can see here, like, so I'm just creating or in this new data, I mean, these properties in this data class only. Okay, that's it. So now I'll refresh the App Explorer just to see whether like, just to issue this one property. And now the loan details properties are this. So now we have created the properties as well. And now we'll go to a section rule. And then here that I just selected a property and this is a page list property. You can see here the Pega is asking, okay, you can give either a list property, I mean the page list property or a page group property. So now just now we have created a page list property. That's it. Just refer it and any one property like, we have seen that we refer it with a dot. And that's it. I'll submit. Let's submit that. And then after that, in this column here, see here, right? So this column, yeah, it's a normal process. You just drag it up and then here. So just press start. So now whatever the property, you want to show. Okay, this is a loan type. And just here it's a drop down. Loan type and include a placeholder. Select. Then I'll add one more column as okay. So whatever the fields are there, how much ever fields are there, like you have to drag these many columns here. So this property is let's say amount. Okay, and then change the label to loan amount, and then a loan type, and let's add another property. Loan type EMI. EMI per month. Mm, okay, year of. Okay, and the final property is uh tenure. That's it. Okay, so now I've saved it. So now I'll just okay, after saving it, I'll just close all these tabs and then we will have it. Okay, loan process. Okay, so now after entering, let's say, all the mandatory fields, then once the user proceed further, then so now I can select that, okay, this is the education loan I wanted, or let's say home loan, whatever, and the amount is this much amount loan I wanted. And then I can, okay, so this is how it will look like. So you can just add or delete whatever that, so I can do that. So, but still, here you can see that, I mean, I'm clicking on that add item, but the Pega is not adding a new item here. I mean, that new record basically. So for that, what we have to do is, again, like go to the section rule. Okay, so I'm making this mistake so that, like, I mean, because you also will face the same problem, so that you will remember it. So now, as soon as you add it, so now if you try to do this one, so Pega, you will not add it. So what you have to do is, again, go to the section, go to this table layout, a table, layout, and then just click on it, and then go to the operations tab and make this select inline. Okay, and then here you can just select that inline rows, inline, always editable. Okay, and now submit this, save that, and now, okay, so now if I'm clicking on add, you can see here the Pega will show you, okay, like, let's say I have any loan in the past, then I'll have say that, okay, I have education loan, and then I've taken a loan of this much amount, and EMI I'm paying, like, this much EMI I'm taking it, and then the year I have taken it on, whatever in the year, and then the loan tenure is like, I've taken it for 20 years, like that. So this is how, and then let's say I've taken another loan. I can say that, yes, I have taken another loan as personal loan, and the amount is this, and EMI I'm paying this, and then the year I've taken it on, like, to 2023, and then, and the that I've taken it for, 10 years, like that. So these like, and then let's say I've by mistakenly I've clicked on the add item, and then it got one item got added it. So this I want to delete it. So there is a delete link is also provided by the Pega. So you just click on that, the delete, it will get that particular row will get deleted. Okay, so this is what the page list is like. This is how, this layout, table layout, is basically used to display the page list property. So that, because in page list property, it's a list of pages basically. Like, that you can see that one page or one record got added, and there's another page got added here, like that. So wherever, like, you have multiple values to, so for example, shopping list, right? I mean, the shopping list also, you can create one item page list as item list, where I can select, okay, like, I want to buy one phone, and then, and one phone and the headphone I want to buy, and then, how much is the quantity, I want to buy two headphones, then the mobile cover I want to buy, and then, then the screen guard I want to buy, like that, or phone charger I want to buy it, and how much quantity that I want. So that are all list, right? So in the similar way, you can do that like as well. So for that also, you have to create a page list property, and this is how the table layout that you can display it. And then the table layout, you can just have this page list property. And then once the page list property is done, so in this column, you can just add one column with the help of these arrow items. And then if you want to delete any row, for example, let's say I have added this new column, and if you want to delete this column, you just click on this dot, and then click here, so that's it. It will delete icon, delete that particular column. Okay, so now another requirement that we had is like, so this loan amount should only be visible when the user says, yes, I have a loan in the past. Otherwise, let's say if because there are chances that user can have or cannot have a loan in the past, right? I mean, it's not that every time, let's say I'm applying for a home loan, but there can be chances that, I don't have any loan on my head. So in those cases, why should we ask user to enter this, unnecessary data, or why should we ask user to show this entire table layout basically? So in that case, we show this table layout or grid only when the user says, yes, I have a loan in the past. Otherwise, if the user says, no, I don't have it, so of course it will not be visible. So in that case, so what we'll do is we'll go to a section, and then just click on this table, this layout, and then click on this gear icon. So if you come down, so you can see that grid visibility. Then when you want to show this grid, So we'll make this as expression, and then the expression is the property name. Mm, what was the property name? I'll just copy the property name. Is equals to true. So once this property is, whenever we check this box, so the property set that value to true. So yes, so whenever that is true, then only that I want to visible show that property. So I'll just refresh this. Okay, so now you can see here it's not basically like it's not happening, right? I'm clicking on it, and all that stuff. So basically like okay, so basically like if you refresh it, like so okay, so basically like once you refresh it, so here in this case, so once you have once you have that checked this, basically like so what you have to do is like you have to refresh the section like in the back end. Sometimes what happens is like so otherwise if the user otherwise the user has to select this refresh and all this stuff. So that we don't want, right? So now what you can do is you can just say that whenever the user check this box, I want to like you can go to the action tab. So now we know that what this general tab do. Here we refer that visible condition required and all those things. The presentation tab, now we know here if you do some styling related stuff, we can do it here. And the action tab, it's also useful. I mean, for example, let's say if you want to perform some action, I mean, for example, let's say once the checkbox has been selected in the backend, I want to perform some activity or perform some action. So in that case, like we can do that. So now you can say that, or for example, let's say for example, simple example. So now whenever I'm clicking on this log off, how the Pega knows like I have to log off basically. So because on clicking on this, the Pega is performing some action. All right. So that is the same thing. Like it's this. Like so what you can do is you can say that on change of this, like whenever I'm changing this property, I want to refresh this section. So just select that what action that you want to take. So basically, you can have these many actions. Basically, like you can even say that I want to log off. So one of the action here, you can see that it's log off, and then you can run an activity and all the stuff. So these many things that you can do it. You can print action, you can do it, close, you can do it. If there is a pop-up, you want to close that. So all those things, so there are many actions that you can do it like that. So now what we want to do is like, on change of this field, we want to refresh the section. Okay, and now let's so now you can see here, like, whenever it's happening. So now I'm clicking on this and this, like, so what is happening in the back end is like, because what happens, right? So it's something like, in the pickup, because it's a code, normal code, I mean, something, if you perform some action, like, I mean, you have to refresh a section, like, because it happens on the client, not on server. So like for happening in the server and system and everywhere, like, you have to just refresh this. So what happens is like, as soon as you do that in the backend, the Pega refresh that everything and checks that, okay, is it if the value is true or false. If it's true, then as per our condition, the Pega display this. Otherwise, if I say that no, I don't have any loan in the past, if I uncheck this, the Pega will not show it. So I'll just enter like only these details, and then I'll just proceed further. That's it. So I don't have to enter like loan and all this stuff. Okay, and the similar way, if you want to give the heading also, like loan details, so you can just give that too. So now I'll just say okay, and then just go down and the presentation tab. So here it is. Just check this box: display container, header, and title. So you can say that loan details or existing loan details. Okay, and now like it will. it will come like existing loan details. And then whenever I'm adding it, if you want to give some numbers to like 1 2 3 like that, so that is also possible. So again, what you have to do is go to the table layout and then go to the presentation tab. So here you can see that displayed numbers, row numbers. So check this box. So and submit this, save it. And now if you'll add it, like, I can see that, it's 3 and, it's 4 and all the stuff. So, it's getting added. So, refresh. Okay. So this is what your page list do. So any questions till now before we go to a page group?
Pankaj, so last time when we did for that approve reject, when we got this reject comment section, we did not do that refresh option, right? So what is the difference between that one and this one?
Yes. Okay. So this one is basically, okay, I'll go to that screen. Okay, so for this one, basically, like, why we haven't done that. Okay, so like, because like, so because already it's on the property where we have given a table layout. I mean, already in that table layout, we have given this approve reject. So what happens is in the clipboard, I mean, there is a, I'll this for this also there is a separate session, like, for the clipboard and tracer. So already one property will be there, on the clipboard, and where what you have selected, approve, reject. So, like that. So basically how the Pega will know, okay, a user has selected approve, reject with the help of this clipboard, so like that. But here in that case, in this loan, this one, whatever the property that I've created, I've not given any option, right? Local list, I have not given it, okay, yes, no, true, false, and all that stuff. So that is the reason, like, for this one, like, for basically, for this one, you have to just explicitly tell to the Pega that, okay, like, want to refresh the section, so that once you refresh this value will get come into the clipboard, and then the Pega compares this clipboard value to this table layout, basically, like that. So that is the reason, like, so here, like, when I was running it, uh, so okay, so now this property will not be there in the clipboard. So now if I'll open the clipboard, and now, I'll just don't get confused, like, so here I'll come to that clipboard once. Okay, so now if I'll try to search that property, you'll see that, like, the property will not be here, and then all that stuff. So and it's there, but it's empty. So like that. So there is no value over here. So and then that property basically, like, I mean, that property, like, to get that stored, like, now if I'll if I check this one, so now if you go to the clipboard, and then it will have the, go to this, then it has the property, like, true, like that. And again, if you if you uncheck this one, and then again if you go there, so there you will have that property as a no false. So like that. So that is because of that, like, where we have selected a radio button and we have given option to the user, like, I'm in that local list and all these things. But this is a control is entirely different. It's a checkbox control, and where we don't give the option. So here in the backend, the Pega have true false. Whatever the true false, the value that I've shown you, that is something the Pega gives by its own, and it's set only when, like, of course it will set it, but it will post it to the clipboard only when, like, when you do this like, when you refresh this section, basically. Okay, so is that clear?
Yes, Pankaj.
Yeah, even with the even with the drop down, like, even if, let's say, you want to show some specific field, like for education loan, education related details that I have to enter, or loan, home loan, then in that case also you don't have to refresh the section. It will basically come. Like, in that case also it will, you don't have to refresh it, but automatically the Pega will display home loan related properties and property related properties, and sorry, personal loan related properties and all those stuff. Okay. So now, let's, okay, so now how I'll show you in the clipboard, like, how this pageless structure display, and let's say, Okay, I've added two records. So now if I'll continue, okay, now if I'll go to the clipboard, and then you can see that how this is getting displayed. So here it is loan details. So here you can see that, I mean, our clipboard has this like, one and two records, like one and two records, because we have added two records like this. But now how will I know that, let's say I have to enter, let's say I have one more requirement as I have to enter my family details too. Like, let's say, uh, okay, family details. So where, I have to enter, let's say, I have to enter the name and only three properties, let's say age and relation. Like, I mean, let's say the first one, like, he's my father, mother, wife, or husband, like that. So like that, or son, like that. So I have to enter like this. Okay. Then, so in this case, like, you can see here the subscript, like, so after this, after this, it's, what is the subscript? Like, the parenthesis, what is the, it's an integer, right? One and two, like this. So same thing, we can do it for the family as well, family details as well. But how will we know that whether that the first details that we have entered is a like, mother information or father information or husband information and all these things. So in that case, basically, we can have a page group property where the subscript will be, it will not be a number. Again, that will be that will also be a list of pages, but in the subscript it will be more prescribed, described, basically, like, it will be like, in the subscript won't be integer, basically it will be a string, like, it will be the name of that. For example, for this loan also, like, we can do that, first details we can enter it like home loan, then personal loan and all this stuff. Okay, so I mean, theoretically I've told you, but I'll show you the practically as well what I mean, basically. Okay, so let's create that property. So here, let's go to here. Okay, family related property. So we'll just create it in the higher layer. So here in the data model, the property, and then family details. Okay, so here it is a page. I'll go create a page group. So now for page group two, like, you can see here, like, we have to give the page definition. So whatever these for these things, like, single page group and page list, is always remember that, you have to create a separate a class, in the that we have to give it in the page definition. So, and like that, and this class also, you have to create it based on your current organization process. Like, just don't blindly, give follow this pattern. So just, before creating a class in your real-time application, just follow that, actual class pattern, like, which your seniors or lead has created. So that is a class is something like, which is the base for any project. If your class structure is good, then, your entire application will be good. Because class is something like, which we can't delete it, or we can't do that. For example, let's say if you have created this property by mistake, you can delete it. That's it, no problem. But let's say if I'll say that, I don't know, I mean, I've created this loan process class is wrong, I have to change this class name, then that is very, very difficult, because inside this class, we have created data, we have created properties, we have created process, we have created case type, we have created section, flow actions, flows, everything we have created. So all that rules, we have to change to that new class and all the stuff. So that is the reason, like, it's very important that, your class structure should be really good. Like, your lead, basically, that is a responsibility of your project, who is the leading that particular project, basically. So that is his responsibility, to make that class structure, like, how he makes it, basically. So that is this. So for the class, I have to told you yesterday, like, in the history tab, you have to mandatorily, like, have to enter description and usage. So otherwise the Pega will throw an error. And then here it is. Okay. And then we'll just create a properties related to that. So just create the property. Class name is our family related. So let's say his name. Then another property, age, and relation. That's it. Okay, so now the page group property, okay, has been created. Okay, so and now it's a family related property. I'll save it. And now I'll just refresh this app explorer. Here it is. So these three properties are related to family related. So now what we'll do is we'll just configure the first screen. So this is the first screen, right? So now let me just open the live UI, and then I'll open it up, and this section got open. And now here in the bottom, I'll use the same thing, table layout, because we have to enter multiple details, because in family, of course, we can have multiple family members. So here, and then just click on this gear icon, and then here, this time we'll give a family details, a page group property. That's it, submit that. And if you want to give the header and all these things, just go to that, and then let's give the title as family details. Okay, and also if you want to give the numbers too, like you can give that, so display row numbers. Okay, and then similar way, like you can just add that this one name. Okay, change the label to name, and let's add another column, name, age, and just click here and then change the label to it to age. Add another column, name, age, relation. That's it. Okay. So by default, the Pega actually supports selects the sorting option. So just just uncheck this one, sorting, because for the page group sorting is not there. Okay, so just save it. Okay, so now that error has gone. And another change, just go to the table layout and go to the operation, and then go to the inline, and rows always editable. Okay, and save it. Okay, and let's just close everything, and then okay, let's add a new one. So now you can see here, I mean, whenever I'm trying to add a new item or new row, basically here, so Pega is showing me a pop-up, and here I have to enter, like, which details that I have to enter. Like, I'll say, like, okay, I'm entering father details. Here it is. I can see the father, and then let's say name of my father is, like, and then the age is this, and the relation, like, again, father. And then another row, like, I have to enter, let's say it's my mother, it's my mother detail, like, name, age, and then, like, like mother. And then I have to enter, let's say, let's say the wife, then like this, so name, age, and like that, so you can see the difference, right? So here, I mean, now if I'll submit this, and I'll show you, like, on the clipboard, how it is displayed. Um, yes, no.
Yes, Pankaj.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So now what we have done till now is, like, we have created a page group property, and then for the page group property that I've shown you, like, how it displays. Okay. So now I just fill the mandatory fields, like, and there will be one pop-up will come, like, whenever you click, and then you have to enter the details. You have to describe it. Okay. Specifically that you want, which details that you want to store it. But in the page list, you remember, like, we don't have to give that, the pop-up and all these things. What the Pega will do is it will add, it will add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this, integer. The next number the Pega will add it automatically. But in the page group, it's specifically, like, you have to give the name, And then it's not a sorted order. You can see that, I can enter mother name on the top, or it's wife name on the top, or something else, or not it is sorted order, like, with the alphabetical order. But in the page list, for the page list, it's a sorted order, like, first record, second record, third record, fourth record, it will get added like that. You cannot say that, okay, I'll enter the 10th record and then I'll enter the first record. You can't do that, do that well. Okay, so that is the reason the page group is an unsorted list basically, whereas the page list is a sorted list. Okay, so now I'll just continue it and I'll show you the details on the clipboard. Both the details I'll show you. So I'll just, and here also, let's enter some details. Okay, so here also I've entered 3. So you can see that, like, for the page list, I mean, you can see that the subscript is 1, 2, 3, and whereas for the page group, the subscript is the string, like, like mother, father, wife, like this. Okay, and now, okay, I'll just continue it, and then I'll show you the clipboard. Okay, then here you can see that for the this is in the family details we have entered 3 records. So now you can easily say that by looking at the subscript only, okay, this whatever the records that you have entered, whatever the details that you have entered, like age is 56, name is this, so this is that this information is related to your mother. And then second record is related to, by looking at this subscript only, we can see that, okay, this is related to my wife, and then the third detail is related to my father. But whereas the page list property, the subscript is, you can see that it's an integer, like not a something, like, you can't tell by looking at this that label or header like that, which details that you have entered, whether you have entered personal loan details, or home loan details, or educational loan details, and all this stuff, like that. So same thing, if you have family details, if you have created as a page list, then like, it will just store it in a 1, 2, 3, like that, some that. So again, it depends on your requirement. I've just shown you, like, the difference between a single page list and a page group. So again, it depends on your requirement, so each one of them has again separate significance, like, when you create those properties, so okay, so like that. So that is something, it depends on your requirement, basically, like, which property, suits best for that, for your requirement, so that is something, you have to decide it, like, so I cannot, we cannot say that, like, okay, always create a page list, or always create a page group, or always create a single page. It depends on your requirement, that, when you have to go for a text area, text, page list, page group, or date time, so that is something, when after reading your user story or requirement, basically, so that on that basis, you have to design, or you have to select, okay, for this reason, I mean, for this one, like, this property suits the best, like that. But just now that, and then of course, like, I have shown you the address as well. All right, so this is the one, so temporary address. So that if you if I'll expand it address, you can see that this is a signal page, so it will not have more than one details. It will store only one details. Okay, and but whereas page list and a page group, both of them stores multiple details, like, like this. Like family details, we have stored 3 details, and the loan details, we have stored 3 details. But the only difference is the subscript. So here it is more description, like, the subscript is like, string, like, the subscript is a string, like, like that, so it's wife, or like mother, and all the stuff, 1, 2, 3. That's the only difference between a page list and a page group. And page list is a sorted order. You can see that 1, 2, 3, like, it's a sorting order, the page will display it. But whereas it's a page group, so it's not a sorted order, like, here you can see that it's mother is on the top, wife is a second, father is a third record, and like that. So that is it, like, so this is what, like, I wanted to cover it for today, like, our embedded properties, or aggregate properties, or complex properties. So I have just stored, yesterday I've put the document also, the PPT also, on the drive, so today I'll place this recordings too on the drive, for your references, like that. So that is it. So now something, like, so hope now it's bit clear, like, so slowly, and also, like, you can see that, we are enhancing our UI as well, like, so earlier on the first day, like, we have just designed the stage and steps, like no UI we have designed. For the second session, we have designed the UI, but we haven't yet put the title. Then for third, fourth session, we have seen that how we can make fields mandatory, how we can give the option, and how different layouts. How can we play with the layouts? And today we have seen that if the user has to enter multiple details, then how we can use it. We can use a page list property that we can do that.